All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Treachery, blood, completely fractured souls, and the simmering tension surrounding the Jing Kingdom, what starts as a battle for a throne quickly snowballs into a desperate fight for identity itself. The descent into Wu Xing begins right now.
Imagine hearing this desperate, echoing cry pierce through the dark. He forced my sister to death. How can there be such injustice in this world? This one singular moment of profound, raw grief from a young prince named Shennan is the hidden catalyst for the entire sprawling tragedy we're about to unpack. To really understand the bloody chess game being played in the present, we absolutely have to recognize these deep, festering wounds from the past.
Part 1. Whispers in the Palace.
Okay, so the Jing Kingdom Palace is basically a powder keg right now. An overpowering stench of poison fills the chambers. Feng Jingge and the Regent Prince, Xiao Jinghan, are already walking a tightrope trying to manage the volatile young emperor. But then they're forced to investigate the quarters of the fake princess, Xi Liu. And get this, when they test her surroundings, their silver needles instantly turn pitch black. It reveals a terrifying deception. They're navigating a palace where literally every cup of tea and every shadowed corner holds a lethal trap. They have to carefully handle this intricate deception to save Xi Liu without tipping off their true enemies.
Part 2. The Poisoned Pawn.
So, the Empress Dowager. She definitely isn't just sitting idly by. She weaponizes the exact people our protagonists trust the most. A trusted maid delivers a lethal toxin directly to Feng Jingge. Just like that, a simple cup of poisoned tea completely shatters any illusion of safety they had left. But the true danger here isn't just physical. The poison actually violently forces the original host's sealed, incredibly traumatic memories to just bleed right into Jingang's mind. She is suddenly drowning in a horrifying past that isn't even hers. It's wild.
Let's look at how deep the roots of this violence actually run. 12 years ago, the Wu Xing tribute arrives. Just 3 days later, the late Jing Emperor's horrific cruelty is laid bare. And that leads directly to the tragic death of Shennan's captive sister exactly a week after that. Within a month, a young, totally broken Shennan vows vengeance in the shadows. This sequence of events right here, this is the blueprint for all the suffering that follows.
Part 3. Blood in the Dungeons.
Because Jingge is left so vulnerable from the poisoning, the Empress Dowager seizes the opportunity to capture and brutally torture Xiao Jinghan. But honestly, this just ignites Jinge's raw fury. She storms the dark dungeons and rescues him, finding him incredibly bruised and battered. She straight up declares, "That Empress Dowager beat you into this state. Sooner or later, I'll drag her down from her position." She kisses his bruises and vows a relentless war against anyone who harms him. It completely cements their unbreakable bond. Yet, just as they secure this massive victory in the dungeon, they have to run. Surviving a brutal political attack, they're instantly thrust into a dangerous journey, straight toward enemy territory to find answers. So you have to wonder, what terrifying truth forces them to flee the capital for the freezing, jagged peaks of the Wuxian kingdom?
Part 4. Shadows of Wu Xing. They cross over into what feels like an entirely different world. It's this mysterious, oppressive domain completely steeped in dark arts. The air itself feels different, carrying this heavy, suffocating scent of medicine. Think about it. Back in the Jing Kingdom, Feng Jingge wore these bright red dresses, and Xiao Jinghan wore pristine white robes embroidered with bamboo patterns. But here, the Wu Xing Kingdom is draped in oppressive black and red garments, cloaked in shadows and the literal stench of decay. The contrast is jarring, and it really emphasizes just how out of place and in danger they are in Shennan's capital.
Okay, we need to talk about the forbidden magic at the heart of all this oppression: goo worms. These are parasitic insects used in dark rituals to physically and spiritually bind two individuals together, and yeah, it often has fatal consequences. This is the terrifying magic that was used to bind a female goo to the original Feng Jingge and a male goo to Shennan, chaining their lives together completely against their will.
But here's where it gets really interesting. When the original host instantly died by drowning, the female Guai perished right along with her. That sudden death snapped the dark connection, leaving Prince Shennan drowning in physical torment. This completely explains his mysterious, incurable sickness. The binding was permanently severed the exact moment our current Feng Jingge's soul entered the body. So, with the binding severed by a soul from another world, we're left with a massive, chilling mystery. Who truly orchestrated this unnatural binding of souls in the first place? Who out there had the power, the access, and the twisted desire to force this kind of connection?
Part 5. The Soul Swap Altar.
Picture this, it's the freezing dead of night. Jingge and Jinghan arrive at a moonless altar where these flickering candles illuminate the horrifying extent of Shennan's obsession. Hiding in the shadows, they overhear an absolutely chilling scene. Cultists are murmuring under the sky, actively preparing to force an obedient servant's soul into Feng Jingge's body. They are literally trying to repeat the dark ritual. They mistakenly believe the first soul swap just failed, completely unaware that the original Jingge actually chose to die to escape.
And right there from the shadows, Shennan's true, terrifying motive is laid completely bare. He screams, "That's because she wouldn't obey me." It hits you. His so-called love was nothing but an obsession for total control. He never wanted a partner, he wanted a puppet. Someone who would never argue, never resist, and just perfectly align with his twisted desire for vengeance.
Confronted with this absolute madness, they strike a massive, incredibly dangerous bargain right at the foot of the altar. Feng Jingge agrees to brave the horrors of Witchkun Mountain entirely alone to find a cure. In exchange, Shennan must permanently abandon his vengeance against the Jing Kingdom. The goal here is simple but incredibly difficult. The cycle of hatred born from the late emperor's cruelty absolutely has to end.
She is quite literally balancing her own life against the survival of two entirely separate kingdoms. As Jingge steps into the freezing peaks, leaving Xiao Jinghan behind to guard a very fragile truce, they stand on the precipice of a brand new nightmare. Will venturing into Witchkun Mountain finally sever the chains of the past, or is this going to seal their doom forever?